So we did a lunch would break down right after lunch service, and then there was another full breakdown, like your deep clean midday breakdown. That was at like probably 4 o'clock. It's like right before family meal. And then at the end of the night, back when I worked there, I was fortunate. We had the dishwashers, the porters would come and like deep clean the kitchen.
Yeah.
So you just like do, your traditional scrub, the floors, mise en place would all get stored away, nothing in the drawers. And then the porters would come in and like do the grills and the flat tops, and they would like take care of like the hoods. Later, when I went back to stage there for fun a couple years later, that didn't exist anymore, and it was pretty intense.
Yeah. Whoa. God damn. How long did you stay on meat roast?
So meat roast, I was there for I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months.
Gotcha.
And then moved to Tournant, and there was 2 of us. So I was like the meat roast Tournant, so they meat roast and entremet, hot apps and pasta.
Yeah.
Like those 4 sections. And the pasta was like one pasta dish, and then like your amuse bouche.
Yeah.
Hot apps was like all of like the a la carte snacks, like fried pickles. We had this sick dish called frog on a log, and it was like pumpernickel bread tuile with like tempura fried frog legs, green garlic emulsion, and pickled green garlic.
Yeah.
It was so delicious.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, it was such a bitch to do, but it was cool because it looked like a little log.
Yeah, awesome.
And then I did that just for just a few more months, and then what they did was pretty cool. They did an entire switch up. So everybody was on one station, and then they came in for pre-lineup one day, and Jack Logue was like, "Okay, tomorrow you're all on a new station," and everybody went to a new station. And then
so everybody got good. It seems like.
That's what they were saying.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, everybody gets good. Chef would do that.
It was a total shit show the next day, though, and like moving forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you put like Garnering guys on the hotline, and like it was just it was a mess.
They get bored. They're like, service is going too well.
Yeah.
Because once you learn, you get lax, and that's when mistakes start to happen.
That's it. Yeah,
damn.
Change is good, man. It's got to be dramatic too. So,
how long did you stay at Bettany?
I was there for about a year and a half.
And then when did you start to kind of look over the horizon and be like, I need to move on?
Well, I started to look forward, like what's for me at Bettany moving forward. And it's like I can be a sous chef and continue pushing with this restaurant. And looking back, I think that would have been an amazing opportunity. But, no regrets. I started looking elsewhere to see what was else around there in the city. And so I started staging on my days off because we were a 7-day restaurant.
Okay.
So I had like random days off. So I could go and, I staged at Terra for a while with Matt Leitner. I staged at the Modern. At the time, the chef was Abram Bissell. And
Abram Bissell.
Abram, yeah. He was a sous at 11 Madison Park way back in the day. I can't remember his name. Anyways, so I staged like a handful of restaurants, and I was looking around. I really wanted to stay in fine dining. And then I staged at a couple of restaurants that weren't in fine dining, and I was like, you know what? This is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because the numbers are much higher, but you're in New York City, man. The quality of the food is not less. And so I ended up taking a job at Michelin.
Oh, okay.
In the Gramercy Park Hotel. It's a Danny Meyer restaurant. At the time, Nick Onderer was the chef and owner.
Yeah.
And it was a huge restaurant. It was breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 7 days a week, brunch on the weekends.
Wow.
We would do like $350 in the trattoria, like the dining room.
Yeah.
And then maybe like another 100 at the bar, 50 at the bar. And then we had like a Barolo bar. We had espresso in there. Like it was a whole operation, man. It was insane.
That's crazy. What'd you do there?
I was a sous chef.
Oh, wow.
So I was hired as a sous. They had me work on like the roast section for a little while, which in most kitchens the roast is like the best, right?
Top
it's
guy,
the top of the line cooks. But there it was not. It was like charcuterie, and then garmage, and then it was roast, entremet, and then pasta.
Gotcha.
So the pastas were like the top.
Okay.
Those were the beast cooks. Like they were really talented.
Yeah.
And those are the guys that didn't want to be sous chefs. Those are the guys who were like, I want to work here to learn how to make pasta.
Got you.
And I worked there for about another year and a half.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between that. And it was a lot of fun. There was a huge sous chef team, so we were all responsible for something. And like I was responsible for like proteins and so ordering all like proteins and stuff like that, developing relationships or holding on to relationships with farmers and ranchers and stuff like that. And I think it was really cool because I had like a good camaraderie with the sous chefs that I worked with. The food's all insanely delicious. Like we were getting like going to the market every day to get like the best fucking produce that we could possibly get.
Yeah.
And then everything was put on the plate as simply as possible because it was like a Roman restaurant. So
Gotcha.
like, we weren't inventing a new wheel. We weren't breaking any rules. We were doing like puntarella salad with anchovies, and stuff
Just
like that.
fucking amazing.
Just good food, man.
Yeah.
And like that's the stuff I like to cook at my house. It's the stuff I like to eat.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times when I make dinner for my wife, I find myself just making like a Michelin dinner.
Yeah.
And I don't tell her, but she knows.
She knows where I got this from. She knows this ain't my
she
recipe.
knows.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Michelin. How long did you stay there?
Just a little over a year.
Okay.
And then I started getting itchy for that disciplining.
That fine dining again, yeah.
I wanted to do it again. And so I started writing letters to restaurants, and I wanted to go stage. I wanted to get out of the city. New York City kind of burned me out. I didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it was really hard to save. It was really hard to get ahead. And, like $100 would change my life.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of got burnt out on the city. And so I started looking around and sending emails to some people. And I heard back from 3 restaurants. It was Relay. It was the restaurant in Melbourne, in Australia. It's been a long day. I'm sorry for our listeners here.
It's fine. That's fine. I've driven a total of 18 hours yesterday, plus 3 today.
And then Maimo in Norway, in Oslo.
Got you.
So I decided on Maimo because I had found them, I think on like Instagram, but I just like looking like the way that they like market those photos and the way that the food looks, and I was just like, dude, I have to see what like is going on here.
Yeah.
And then I get
You're like, is this real?
Like it just looks so sick.
Yeah.
And so then I get accepted to work to go stage there, and so I start like looking a little deeper, and then I find out that the chef owner Espen is like this massive black metal like music fan.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is getting better and better. Like I have to be a part of this.
Doesn't
man.
he
Like,
play black metal in the kitchen?
It's blasting. Like everybody's like you're standing right next to the people, and you have to like scream to talk to them. It's crazy.
That's fucking awesome.
This is before service, obviously. During service, it'd be like this crazy Norwegian like folk music.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like no singing, just like these like very weird trancey like troll music. It's pretty
Troll
wild
music.
stuff.
Okay, so
Yeah.
mushroom
Like,
music.
If trolls were on mushrooms in the mountains of Norway playing like 3 instruments, that's what I think it would sound
yeah.
like.
All right, that's not bad.
So I went to Maimo. I left Michelin. We left all of our shit in our apartment in New York City, and then we went to Oslo. My wife and I. At the time, I had just proposed, so we weren't married yet. But I wanted to make sure she'd like hold on for the new ride.
You're like, I'm a chef. You have no idea what you're in for.
Yeah, this is gonna get rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we went to Maimo, and I was only there for 2 months.
Okay.
I was not there for a long time. There is an article that says I worked there for a year, but I did not.
Fuck that article.
I know. But dude, it was absolutely amazing. I met still some of my closest friends working in that restaurant for just a couple months.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of amazing opportunity come from that later in life. I really loved it, and I really wanted to stay, but it was with the visa. It was so challenging.
Yeah, and you got along with Esben really well.
Yeah, we got along pretty well. He liked me. I remember every day the cooks, the chef de parties would always be like, I think he really likes you. And I'm like, well, tell him to give me a job, you know?
That's funny because they're probably like, he doesn't like me. That feeling?
Yeah.
When the new like stagiaire comes in, you're like, did he just shake his hand? He never shakes my hand.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, man. But I got lucky. So I started as a stage on the garnish section. So it was pastry, snacks, protein, and garnish. I'm just calling it protein. They probably have a different name for it. And then there was a sous chef and a head chef. And I started on the garnish section, and I think it was after the first week, because they're in Norway, it's like a law, you have to take time off.
Okay.
And so you're forced to take time off, and the government pays for it. And so even though you are, as a chef, don't want to leave the restaurant and miss out on anything that might happen, they're like, you have to take a week vacation, like right now, you have to go. And so the garnish section was going to leave. He was going on vacation, and he's like, do you want to work my section while I'm gone? And I was like, I don't think I can handle it. And he's like, you'll be fine. And so the sous chef, Hallie, who's a good friend of mine, was like, I think that you'll be great, and I'll just watch over you and make sure that you're set up for service, and you'll have all your stagiaires helping you do your list. And so I ended up getting to work the section for the remainder of my time as a stage.
Very cool.
And they paid me in tips. So I ended up getting paid out of it, which was really cool.
Yeah. Where were you staying?
We got an Airbnb just about 1-2 miles up the road.
Yeah.
And I flew my bike over there with me, so I was biking to work every day. It was a dream. I was really hoping I didn't ever have to go home, but we did. So.
What did you do when you got back?
So we got back to New York City, and I did a couple stages for fun. So I went back to Bethany for a day. And that was super fun. I went in the morning so I could see all the morning guys. And I did a bunch of mise en place. I had this record working at Bethany where I could break down 30 chickens in 29 minutes. And so the first thing I do when I get there is this chef gives me 30 chickens, and he's got all these cutting boards laid out, 6 cutting boards in a row. And he goes, time's on. And I was like, oh, shit. And I did not do it in 29 minutes. No, I wasn't feeling it,
Yeah, I hear you. You're all hungover. You're like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for this.
I got to work service that day, and it was a ton of fun. They did power hour on me, so they gave me a piece of skate wing, and they're like, you have 1 hour go, and I got to make them a dish.
Yeah.
And just coming back from Norway and eating in restaurants in Sweden and stuff, I made this very Nordic dish, that I think was pretty cool. And so anyways, after New York City, my wife and I decided we were going to move to San Francisco, just out of the blue. And so we packed a van, we bought a van, bought this 1989 Dodge this big work van with no windows. And we loaded all our shit in there, and we drove all the way across the country. And then when we got back to Utah, we sold it for $1,000 or $100 less than we bought it for.
Sick.
Yeah, don't fucking rent U-Hauls. Just buy a van and then resell it. That's the move.
I hear that. Oh, that's a good move.
So we stayed in Salt Lake City for 2 months, and then during that 2 months, I went and I staged at a handful of restaurants in the Bay and in Napa. So I was out there for originally was a week, and then while I was there, I ended up extending my time because Atelier Crenn had never gotten back to me.
Got you.
And I was at this little coffee shop in Salt Lake City, and I'm getting coffee, and I get this phone call from this number. And back then, I answered all my phone calls. I don't answer any of them now.
Sorry if you're calling him.
Yeah, sorry. It's silenced. So I answer the phone, and it's like, hello, this is Chef Dominique. And that's a terrible accent, but that was her. And she's calling me from this resume that went it passed by a couple people and finally landed on her desk. And so I set up an interview with her after one of my stages one night, so super late. And so I get out there and I staged at, I think first was Lazy Bear. I was there for 3 days.
Stage with Joey Sasto.
Got a stage with Joe.
Hey!
And then my man John, who we poached from them years later.
Who's that?
My guy John. He went by BJ, and then when we hired him, he's like, my name's John now. But BJ's stuck. He's still BJ.
Okay.
The Lazy Bear was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool. I think I really took it seriously. I really liked it. But a lot of people talk shit about that place because it's you're doing so many numbers at once.
Yeah.
But their food was good. The food was really delicious. I mean, everything I ate when I staged was good. Everything I ate when I went in and ate dinner there was delicious. All the cooks were fucking talented. And it was a really cool working environment and culture. And that being my first stage, I was like, things are on the up, man. I think I'm going to like it out here in California.
Yeah.
And from there I went to Bennu, and I did 1 day.
Okay.
And everybody's like, who are you? And I was like, my name's Kevin.
Yeah.
Do you need me to do some mise en place for you? And they're like, how did you get a 1 day stage here?
Oh, really?
And I was like, I don't know. I
emailed. Is that weird?
I guess it is. I'm not special. I didn't have some crazy resume. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? 4 people asked me, and I'm like, my name's Kevin. I'm just a guy. And I thought Bennu was sick, man. Well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Food was tight. The chef is expediting everything and sending food out. He's running onto stations to pick up meat and stuff, help sous chefs out. It was intense. There was a ton of people. and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous kitchen. And at the end of that, his idea was to pull me into Bennu, like lure me in with Bennu, and then try and hire me for his other concept in the museum.
The